problem.
Let's get it started in here.
Woo!
Let's get it started.
Welcome to The Only Problem with Santino and Andy. That's the show.
Or Andy and Santino.
With Andy and Santino. The only problem with us is the show. That you're listening to right now. So far,
we got weird right before we started recording. We got off on a real weird footing.
We were about to start recording, and I introduced Santino to a Black Eyed Peas song that he had never heard before. Well, he'd heard a version of it,
yeah.
But I had the liberty of introducing him to a hard to find kind of deep cut classic from the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
But we are not here today to talk about 2000s pop hip hop as much as I would like that to be the case. Instead, this week we are going to talk about the 2022 film White Noise. But before that, Santino, tell me how you doing. Folks at home need to know. I need to know.
I was trying to get it started in here, and then something fell apart. I think somewhere along the lines, my groove got out of the pocket, and my funk got all.
That can happen. I mean, to be fair, we started talking about Black Eyed Peas, and then we started talking about Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, we had this weird early 2000s pop trivia that then went very political very quickly, and my whole day has just been very strange. And so up to this point, it's like, here we are. Now we're going to talk about movies.
Yeah, and to make your day a little bit normal, we're going to talk about one of the most normal films I've seen, ever, maybe.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a very absurd film. Hey, I got feedback on our banter from last week. The folks like it.
Oh,
folks like Network likes it. I think we're good. Yeah. So if we want to keep our silliness levels up, but I mean, this week we're talking about such a silly thing.
Yeah.
I feel like we might not even need to ham it up. We can simply report.
Yeah. We could do it very dry. We could have just papers in front of us and be like, today we watched this film. And it would translate to just, people would be like, what the heck is this movie?
Yeah. So before we get going, I do want to say one thing, one disclaimer. If you're a regular listener of the show, if you're one of the three, thank you. But also, this show is officially coming out on Fridays now. I know if the pattern recognizing part of your brain. Yeah, this is news to Santino.
What?
The show's okay. So here's the funny thing about my explanation of saying that. For the last 2 weeks, the show has come out on Friday. So again, assuming the pattern-seeking part of your brain has been off when it comes to our show, which is fair. Hopefully you're not always a detective looking for things. If you're the show's been late, it will continue to be late on time on Fridays because we've been recording the show the week of on Tuesday nights. I don't want to give too much of the magic of the show away, but it's really difficult for me to remember.
Did we lose a buffer episode?
Oh yeah, we haven't had a buffer episode in 3 weeks.
How did that happen?
Don't ask me to remember the past.
This is the first time I'm hearing of this.
We lost a buffer episode because
you got sick and went to the thing.
I don't know. It was before the thing and me being sick, I think.
I have no clue.
I forget why
lose a week of time? Did we just slip through time?
We might have. I forget what the reason was, but we lost our buffer week. Something came up. One of us were busy. This wasn't even that long ago. This was 3 weeks ago. We had a buffer week for a long time so that I could produce the show at some point and then get it up for next week. We haven't had that. Oh, I went to Florida, I think.
See, I was getting ready to blame it on the government shutdown, but if you want to take
the pandemic?
Okay. No, the government shutdown. The shutdown that lasted 3 days, a few weeks ago, that no one knew actually happened.
Yeah. See, I didn't even know it happened. Yeah.
That's because Gavin Newsom and I were in touch.
Okay, we
talk
like that
a lot. Yeah.
So it was because I went to Florida that we couldn't record, but the show didn't get interrupted. We our production schedule, and then I was sick, and I legitimately forgot to post the episode either last week or the week before, and that's when I was like, we're moving to Fridays. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I legit woke up Wednesday and got to work and was like, oh, frick, I forgot. well, guess it's coming out later in the week. 'Cause I already was thinking that because it had been a couple weeks of like, I got to get it up Wednesday. I got to get it up Wednesday. Kind of like the Tasmanian Devil. It's how I produce the show.
I mean, that's how you do most things in life.
Like the Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah, like the Tasmanian Devil. Yeah.
Yeah,
like you go to school, you're like, oh,
yeah.
Work.
I go to school.
Yeah, you go to school. You know, you go upstairs in your room and you go to school, you log on the computer, you're like, oh, the password, and then you get into the computer.
Yeah.
I've heard it echoing all the way down here. Like you're up in Painesville, and every now and then, if the wind
because we have that,
right, I can hear it.
We have that tin can with a string and and buttons.
Yeah.
That connect our rooms.
Let's face it, the buttons don't do anything. They were mostly my request because my little brain needed to feel like something was happening. So you're like, all right, fine, I'll put buttons on it.
I thought the button like provided a like reverberation. I thought there's a button when you're making your like old timey tin can contraption. I thought there's a button involved.
There is buttons, but they don't do anything. I'm pretty sure
they're just for show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just like to appease me. But if they actually do something that I've been,
what do you mean to appease you? Like satisfy your interest in what's happening? Like,
yeah, like I thought that like me dialing it at first did something, and I realized it doesn't. I'm like,
dialing
he just put multiple buttons on my.
I meant button like a thing that's on your shirt.
Oh, like a button?
Yes.
Oh, well, then why are there buttons on mine? Because I've been dialing, nothing's happening.
I don't know. You know, I did put. You know, you're right. I did put those because I was like, Santino. He likes that tactile feel. He's like really into vintage.
I knew it. Okay, guys. I quit. I quit the podcast.
This was the only problem. We were supposed to talk about white noise, but instead we talked about the Black Eyed Peas for 5 minutes before we started recording, and we've just been off the rails.
I've been dialing 8675309 for months, and nothing's happened.
Yeah. Well, I thought you'd just yell. I thought you'd go, and then I'd hear you. Like when you hear me working on school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what it is. But okay, guys, enough about that. Let's dig into the coolest thing or the worst thing that Andy Matsky's ever seen. I'm so excited. I want to just set the stage here really briefly for our audience. This film came out in 2022, and shortly thereafter, like literally 2 months later, in East Palestine, a train derailed, just like in the movie. Also, Andy just froze, guys. I think our connection's bad. I'm not sure if we're actually still recording. So I'm gonna talk to Phil Space. This is me talking to Phil Space. Maybe I'm not gonna keep talking to Phil Space. I think there's a technical issue. Could be good, could be bad, could be easily fixable. Maybe it's not easily fixable. This could be a problem. I'm gonna pause and see if that changes anything. Okay, we're back. Eddie might.
I'll edit it.
Eddie will edit it out. I don't know who Eddie is, but he might edit.
Eddie will edit it out. I like that. We're gonna keep that. Eddie.
So this came out in 2022, and like a couple months later, in East Palestine, one of the places where they filmed, there was a train crash, and tons of toxic chemicals billowed out into the atmosphere and poisoned everybody in Ohio and like 14 other states. So this movie
happens in the movie.
Yeah, this is kind of what happens in the movie, which is so bizarre. So this is why I originally watched the movie, because right after the East Palestine train derailment, like the day or the day after it happened, I was like, I got to see this movie. And so that was my introduction to it. And ever since I watched it, last night was the 4th time I watched it. I've read the book, so I've actually gone through this like 5 times. And I've told Andy basically nothing about it, and he watched it for the first time last night.
You told me a couple things about it, and I want to try to we did this off air. No. It was last week after we recorded. Okay. And you told me, don't worry about the plot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, noted. And you told me something else, and I completely forgot what it was. And you told me, shoot, what was the third thing?
It was the most important thing.
Frick.
I don't remember.
This was all building towards, I guess I forgot that too. But it was like, oh, I don't know why this movie's rated R.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But I don't remember. I swear there was 3 things, and I don't remember the second thing was. So, and I was even sitting there thinking, okay, so don't worry about the plot.
Mm-hmm.
this movie is like supposedly like rated R inexplicably, and that's all.
I can't remember the third thing.
I can't remember either.
We set it off air, so we can't even check the tape.
Yeah. So, and that's what I knew going into it. That is all I knew.
Okay,
and
good.
I think it was like people either love it or hate it.
Oh,
that was something in my mind. Was like, okay, the reaction on this movie tends to be people loving it or hating it.
Yeah, it's very polarizing.
I think that's what it was, and that's all I knew. And so I get dropped into this movie where like the first line is like, okay, roll film, and like, and we get these like scenes of car crashes and Don Cheadle like waxing eloquent about
there's a lot of waxing. There's a whole lot of waxing in the movie.
and like secular optimism and how these aren't like actually bad things. These are like optimistic things because people worked hard on them, and they're and don't worry about the blood and guts. It's fun.
Yeah, they're joyous. See, here's the thing. This movie, and I think we'll try to give a very brief synopsis of this for the folks playing along at home, just so they aren't completely confused. But the one thing I wanted to say before we do that was, I think it'll be really interesting as we talk about this, because there's my early prediction, and I'm not going to give my whole early prediction, but one of my early predictions that I feel confident in saying right now is that I think you would at the very least appreciate the art of the movie. You would appreciate the quirk and characters of the movie. And I think you would definitely appreciate the verbiage in the movie, because everyone talks as if they have a thesaurus, like literally intravenous thesaurus. Every character is like, they all wax poetic and philosophical and other things. So
so let's just work through those.
Yeah.
Just to initially, maybe I think the production design in this movie is top 5 of movies I've seen.
I would agree.
Like, period. Well, and we can build on that later. But I was thinking that watching the movie, I was like, this is one of the best looking movies I've ever seen. We'll throw that out there. And how I feel about the movie.
Right.
I think I quite appreciate the quirk.
Because you're more of a Wes Anderson fan than I am.
Maybe.
I can guarantee, I 100% know that you're more of a Wes Anderson fan than
like, I mean, I've seen a couple Wes Anderson films.
But you like them, and I generally don't.
Yes.
So.
Yes. True. I appreciate the quirk and okay. So it's not that spoiler alert of what I'm about to say. I liked the dialogue in this movie, but I don't know if I'd say it's the thesaurus. It's like in Coen Brothers films, it's the thesaurus. Like, you almost don't understand what they're saying because they're using words you don't know. This is just, and this might be sacrilege, but it's almost Shakespearean levels of just dialogue that is pretty darn important to like characterization and like and story. But
and they're all talking over each other.
Every character's always talking. There's a scene, and like kind of inexplicably, in amazing ways, there's a scene early on in the movie, and we can jump around, but this is just an example because I rewatched part of this movie tonight before we record, just because there's so much. I needed to like work through the movie again. And there's a scene early on in the movie where they're at a grocery store, and this movie stars Greta Gerwig and the Adam Driver. I could not believe it. Blank out his name. And they're talking a mile a minute to each other and with their kids. And then all of a sudden, Don Cheadle's character, they like mention something across the grocery store. And all of a sudden, Don Cheadle's character turns around and is talking about the same thing they are.
Yeah.
Like
everyone finishes each other's sentences.
Yeah. And is like talking about the same thing as if it were like the most marvelous. It's a butcher is coming to the supermarket, and he's talking about it as if it were the most amazing thing you've ever seen.
So for the folks playing along at home, you want to give them the synopsis, or you want me to give them the synopsis?
Okay, so here's the thing with the synopsis of this movie. I can tell you what this movie's about, I think, but I don't know if I can tell you I still don't know if I can give you like a plot synopsis. let me try.
Sure.
Let me try. It's about this family.
Mm-hmm.
Most importantly, the father, played by Adam Driver, and the mother, played by Greta Gerwig.
Mm-hmm.
The father is a professor at a local college.
At the college on the hill.
At the college on the hill, is the head of the Hitler Studies Department.
Advanced Nazism. Man.
Advanced Nazism. He did advanced Nazism at the college on the hill.
Yes.
And it's about their family and their struggle with death. See, again, I'm getting into like what this movie is about.
Right.
But that's not like necessarily what happens for the vast majority of this movie. Right. I got 50 minutes into this movie and I texted you.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm 50 minutes in and I don't know what's happening.
Well, I mean, if as a plot synopsis for the people at home, basically what it is, you got the Gladneys, it's this family, and they live in a small, I believe, unnamed town, because they keep referring to Iron City as if it's this town upstate a bit outside of wherever they are. It seems to be the Midwest. He's a college professor, and effectively what the plot is that there's a train derailment. Toxic chemicals create this giant cloud known as the airborne toxic event. They have to evacuate everybody. And then once they're allowed to go back home, in the background, there's a subplot at the beginning of the film, which then becomes the main thrust of the last third of the film, or really the last half of the film, which is that Adam Driver's wife, Greta Gerwig's character,
Babette,
yes. Babette has been covertly taking pills for an unknown condition, and she won't admit to what it is. And so Jack goes on this quest to figure out what the pill is, why she's taking it, confronts her about it, and then things unravel in a really weird way, and he ends up at this weird motel, and it kind of
we'll get there. Get there.
It kind of turns Fear and Loathing for a little bit.
It turns Fear and Loathing and like a noir.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, but we'll get there.
So that's basically the plot.
There.
Is it's an airborne toxic event and this family dealing with it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the plot. But you are right. The theme thematically is about death, and there's satire of like higher education and consumerism and all kinds of things.
It's really comedy that just it puts the pedal to the metal.
It's a
you gotta keep up. You gotta keep up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like watching part of it a second time, I already was like catching more. I was actually like digesting
when you rewatched it. Were you rewatching from a particular point or just in the beginning?
I started from the beginning and then I skipped to a couple things that I wasn't sure if I remembered. Right.
Okay.
Because watching this movie, after it was done, I felt like I had watched like 3 movies.
Yeah, it is kind of like 2 movies.
There was so much going on that I was like, I don't know what I just watched. And that's kind of, I've been chewing on that for the better part of a day of kind of being like, I'm not exactly sure, like almost from a memory standpoint, like I don't know. Like, did I get that right? And so part of it was checking those things. But yeah, so this movie starts Don Cheadle's thing, and then it's like move-in day.
At the college.
And like it's even there. See, like second time around, we're introduced to the fact that Greta Gerwig's character is like forgetful, and you need to remind me of these things. And we're introduced to like so there's 3 acts or 3 parts of this movie.
Yeah.
And the first one, what's the first one called?
I can't actually remember. In the book, there are chapter names, some of which the acts are taken from, but I can't remember what the first one is. I know the second one is Airborne Toxic Event, and the third one is Dial-O-Rama, but I can't remember what the first one is.
I can't remember what the first one is, but this first one pretty much just introduces us to the family.
Which is there's some great introduction there. It's super chaotic. It's very interesting.
Well, yeah, it's like we're introduced to Adam Driver's character as he like looks out the window of moving day and then like rushes out of the college, rushes home. Yeah, and Greta Gerwig is just immediately kind of like this weird space case. Like she's got frizzy hair and she
has important hair.
She says, yeah. Yeah, and we're introduced to, in the first scene we're introduced to Don Cheadle's character, and then we're introduced to Greta Gerwig and the family's just instantly like chaos. They're all talking over each other in this, like, again, it's like a mile a minute, super rich dialogue that every time they kind of get a sentence out completely, it's like, I can't believe they just delivered that line as well as they did. Especially Adam Driver. Adam Driver throughout the movie convinced me that he can say any line of dialogue.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor. Because the dialogue in this movie, I like that you likened it to Shakespeare, because
that's credit to some IMDb review that said that, but
I'll still give you the credit, because like it really is almost a modern Shakespeare. Don DeLillo's dialogue in the book is verbatim taken from the page to the screen, and it is exhausting. It is full of minutia, and it's not natural at all. And like you were saying, when they were in not to jump ahead, but when they were in the supermarket for the first of many times, all the characters basically finish each other's sentences and talk as if they're all one voice, because they technically are. It's all just the book's voice. It's the way the book talks. Even though they are individual characters and have their own personalities, they still all effectively talk in this weird way. And it's not there's nothing natural about this dialogue.
Yeah.
And yet it works in how unnatural it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a movie.
Yeah.
And
style
so it can be
over substance here.
It's style. I mean, I wouldn't even say like over substance, because it's like what substance needs to be there.
True.
Like if this is where, and I waded into like reviews on IMDb about this movie because I was curious about the way people thought about it. And I think this is like a lesson in expectations, maybe. Because it's like, name another movie where you'd be whining about the dialogue not having substance totally throughout, unless you were the least fun person to watch a movie with.
Right.
So like, it is like, and don't get me wrong, it's a very stylized movie, period. And that extends the dialogue.
For sure. So we got 4 kids.
Yeah.
We've got Steffi and Steffi. No, we got Steffi, we got Denise, we've got Heinrich, and we got
Wilder.
Wilder is the little one. Heinrich is the oldest boy. Denise is the second oldest. Steffi's in the middle. And what is it? All the kids are from a different marriage between the two of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Heinrich and Steffi are from Adam Driver's marriages, but it's like from marriages 1 and 3.
Yeah.
And
Heinrich is theirs, and then Denise is hers.
Wilder's is theirs.
Wilder's is there.
Yeah.
And Denise is hers, and they're each other's 4th.
Yeah.
It's super complicated.
Yeah, that's a line of dialogue that's like is from 1st and 3rd and da 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 da, and we're each other's 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something, man. There's a lot. And Heinrich's been playing chess with a murderer.
Dude, I wrote a line of that down from when I watched it this time, which was like, what'd he do? He was under pressure. And it's like he shot people, right? Like, 4 people. But like what did he do? He was under pressure. So good. Like such a good moment. Yeah.
And that's the thing. There are genius lines of dialogue that literally get stomped on by other lines of dialogue constantly through the movie. Constantly.
Yes.
And that's one of them. Like, all the kids are super quirky. They're all very smart, but at the same time, ask ridiculous questions. Yeah. There's constant misinformation.
Or like really dumb questions, like because the air's really light in space is one of the ones from the first scene. It's like, there is no air in space, so how could it be light? Like, that's like, so I watched this movie with subtitles, and I think it made it, because they were just on, and I think it made it worse, because like every line of dialogue is flashing, and so it's like,
yeah, don't watch it with subtitles, whatever you do. It's really, you're not meant to catch all of it.
Yeah, you're not. And so that really like, even in like the scene where all the college students are being like
Yeah,
ushered in. Like a ton of
but-
those line of dialogues are in the subtitles, and
Mhm.
it's like a lot of them are great throwaway lines
Sure.
that are just like you aren't, like you said, you almost aren't meant to catch them all.
Well, it's white noise. It's this idea of just everything's always hitting you constantly. There's always a TV on in the background of every scene. There's a radio on in the background of every scene. They're all saying weird things. This is a port over from the book. Is that I'm telling you, there's only one significant line of dialogue that I can find in the movie that wasn't in the book. Everything else is in the book, including like, and I don't know if you noticed this, but when they're in the grocery store, there's constant weird announcements being made that make zero sense. And those are in the book. My favorite being Kleenex Softique, your truck is blocking the entrance. Which is just word salad.
Yeah.
Disregard. No, wait. No, regard.
Like, yeah, they're like, spill in aisle 3,
Mhm.
Cheerios spill in aisle 3. Nope, aisle 4.
Yep.
Lucky Charms.
It's nonsense. And it's meant to be. Like, I don't know. I feel like we're already having a hard time staying on track of any like.
And it's the first like 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it really is. It lives up to its namesake.
So there's a scene then. We're jumping around a bit, but it's like about who'd die first between
they're in
and
bed.
Adam Driver.
Yeah,
they're in bed.
Babette
and
Adam Driver.
Yeah, Babette, and it's not. And it's like this. Why? Like this is where the movie also is definitely like this type of weird Shakespearean deep dialogue, one line after another, where it's like, my life would be abyss if you died first. So I want to die first. And it's like, my life would be more than an abyss. What's more than an abyss?
A yawning gap. It just keeps going.
It's just wild. And like, if you died first, I'd just be left talking to pillows and lying down. Wait, what is it? I'd be left talking to chairs and pillows.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
So yeah. And then what? We get, I don't think I can try to keep this movie straight of everything that happened, but we're also introduced to like the academic world that Adam Driver's character is a part of,
which is amazing.
And it's all these like really weird people, one of which is played by Andre 3000, which that was a like, whoa, what are we doing? What's he doing?
I had a feeling you would be like, what? The minute he showed up.
Yeah, it was pretty much my reaction.
Yep. I don't even know, like, I couldn't tell you what the name of his character is. He's just one of the professors. I have no clue.
I think we're like, we're only introduced to like one name for sure. And it's the guy who, spoiler alert, dies in like a surfing accident.
Oh, yeah.
It's also like Kostakis, who's like Don Cheadle's rival when it comes to Elvis studies.
Oh, yes. Cheadle wants to be. So Cheadle's character's name is Murray. And Murray wants to do for Elvis what Jack did for Hitler. He wants to be like
said
that guy.
Explicitly in the movie.
Yes, and that's amazing too. But
no one in the academic world can say a word about Hitler without looking in Jack's direction or nodding in Jack's direction.
I also like that he basically just his moniker is J.A.K. Gladney, but it's just Jack. He just broke up Jack without the C and just put periods between it. And so now he's like, it sounds more, and he wears like dark glasses. And all the professors at the College on the Hill wear black robes.
Yeah, all the time.
It's very overbearing. And like when you actually see some of their classes, you realize it's basically just them performatively monologuing. There's really no learning. There's no like facts. It's just them speaking, again, very Shakespearean, very dramatic.
So good. It's so good. Dude, the scene where like he's teaching his first Hitler class in the movie, it is just that. He's like talking about why we need heroes, and we look for people to fill our needs.
Darkly loom.
Yeah.
Like that's a great line.
But yeah, okay, so we're introduced to the academic world. In that scene, when there's like a scene, they're all sitting, these professors are sitting at like a lunch table. Adam Driver asks the one like medical lady,
the neuroscientist,
the neuroscientist lady, like if she can analyze a pill, which is this like Dylar thing, and there's some line where she's like, well, because he goes, oh, you're brilliant, and she goes, we're all brilliant, isn't that understood? Like, I call you brilliant, brilliant, and he goes, well, no one calls me brilliant, they call me shrewd.
You say, I got in on a good thing earlier, or latched onto a good thing earlier, or something like that. Yeah,
they call me shrewd. It's like, nobody calls me brilliant, they call me shrewd. Is again like one line of dialogue in a scene full of amazing lines of dialogue where they're talking about like, these professors are talking about like peeing in sinks.
Yeah, it's amazing because the one unfortunate thing, and I will say this, is that I'm not the kind of guy who goes, the book is better than the movie. And in this case, the book is definitely not better than the movie. The movie is better than the book. The movie streamlines the narrative considerably. Like, if you think the movie's hard to keep track of, the book is even more difficult to keep track of. And the book is frankly exhausting. Like, by the time I got to the last 6 chapters, I'm like, I want this to be done. It streamlines things. But the one thing you do miss, it is in the movie, but you can barely hear it, is the dialogue between the professors at the lunch table. Because on the page, you've got pages of just them talking their inanities. In the movie, you just kind of get pieces of it in the background. Have you ever had skin peeled off of your back by a beautiful woman? Have you ever
Cocoa
had
Beach, Florida?
Yeah, there you go. Have you ever peed in a sink? I've peed in sinks all over America. They're in this constant like infantile like peeing contest where they're constantly like, well, when was the last time you did this? And they're like throwing things at each other. And that's their lunches every day. And you just get a brief glimpse of that in the movie. But that's something.
It's fantastic. It's just incredible. And so before that, we also are introduced to like this moment when Adam Driver's character is like in bed asleep, and then he wakes up.
Nightmare scene is great.
There's a nightmare scene that is like, the movie turns horror for like 3 or 4 minutes here.
It's one of the creepiest scenes I've seen. It's really well done.
It is super creepy, where he wakes up and Babette is not next to him in bed. And he looks down at the foot of his bed, and there is a figure sitting in like a chair in their bedroom who has scars. Is clearly not Babette. Straight, like longer straight hair, wiry, appears to be like a masculine figure, but like androgynously so. Has this scar like on his right hand, and you're like, what the heck is going on? And then that figure spins around and looks at Adam Driver's character. You don't see like the face or anything. And then he stands up and walks through like a curtain, and then goes into the bathroom, and then pees, and then flushes the toilet, and then turns out the light and walks out, and then lays in bed next to Adam Driver. And it is like, what is going on? What is about to happen? And like, this movie does this thing where it exists in such an absurd world where you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, there's no predicting.
I felt that way.
There's
you have no clue where the movie's going to go. And so I honestly kind of forget how that scene ends. Isn't it like
he gets in bed?
There's like a face through the. Doesn't it go Nightmare on Elm Street where there's like a face through the sheet?
The figure like gets right up next to him and like is like stretching through the sheet, and then the next thing you see is the face under the sheet, but then it turns out to be Adam Driver, and he's like gasping awake, and then you realize it was a dream, and then Babette's next to him. He's like, it's super weird, man. Like the foreshadowing in this movie is yet again another thing that's done really well.
Top tier foreshadowing.
Which also, for anybody listening to this, I know we're not making a ton of sense, but obviously spoilers. So if you think you might want to see a really interesting movie, probably just stop listening now and just go watch the movie. It's on Netflix.
If you're intrigued, I really, really, really would second that. If you're intrigued, if you haven't heard of this movie, if you don't know much about this movie, go and watch it.
Yeah.
We'll be back. We'll be right here.
Yeah, we'll pause.
Waiting for you. Yeah, we'll pause and
we'll just wait.
We'll wait 2 hours and 10 minutes right now.
Yeah.
There, I think that's good.
There you go. Yeah.
So now that you're back,
Mm-hmm.
we can talk a little bit more
We can
about the
talk
movie
more.
and the foreshadowing and all that. I think you need to direct us a bit because I
Okay.
still feel like
Yeah, we're kind of we're getting unmoored from, which is very easy to do with this plot. So that's early foreshadowing that something's wrong. And Denise, specifically, the eldest daughter, is concerned that Babette is on some kind of pill that's maybe causing her memory loss, because it's certainly not the sugar-free gum that she's chewing, even though it causes cancer in lab rats, and it's certainly not the smoking that she no longer does, and blah, 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 and that whole conversation. So Adam Driver's reluctant to believe that Babette is keeping a secret from him, and he's asked her a few things, and she's kind of denied it. Very, very light prodding from him. He doesn't push the issue too much. And so we get introduced to the academics, and we get introduced to Murray, and Murray wants to do this whole thing with Elvis. And this is fairly immaterial to the plot, but it's fun and it's interesting. And so eventually Murray's like, can you help me out? Like, if you could lend your presence to my first class on Elvis, it would really help lend some like credibility to what I'm trying to do, since, Kostakis also wants to do this Elvis thing. And so we get one of the more amazing sequences in the movie that's very well done, where Murray starts to teach his class in like a rainbow room.
It's a note I have that's like, where the heck is this scene? It's like a set of a child's TV show
70s.
from the 2000s, or or even the 70s.
Yeah.
It's like, in the round, like,
it's a round room,
are like staggered at like rows of like 3.
Mm-hmm.
And they just surround, and it's like rainbows, and
it's very, I mean, again, the color palette and the design sense, the art department, the set design, this whole movie's period, because it's supposed to take place in 1983. And so everything is just kind of overflowing with colors, but very tightly controlled colors. And so he's in this weird room and he's giving his presentation. And then Jack shows up, Adam Driver's character. He just kind of inserts himself into the lesson, and he's just kind of
like posing almost.
He's like posing like over in the dark,
bent over. Yeah.
And then he just kind of starts talking, because Murray's talking about like Elvis and his mother and their relationship. And then like Jack's like, Hitler was a mama's boy. And you're just like, all of a sudden, like the whole room turns to him as if this is like,
Hitler, like something fact about Hitler and his mom.
And now they just start going back and forth, this weird, like, pseudo-factual badinage of, like, how these two weird figures were with their mother. And what's strange is they, at least as far as the movie's concerned, they compare relatively closely to each other.
Yeah.
And we keep intercutting this with footage of, like, Hitler's speeches, and then footage of Elvis gyrating. And all the while, we're also cutting back and forth to this train that's driving, and a truck driver who seems to be not paying very close attention. And you're like, okay, something's going to happen. And it's just this really well constructed scene where Murray's talking about this stuff.
At one point, they're both lecturing at the same time.
Yeah, you can't hear what either of them are saying.
Yeah.
And then like Jack kind of withdraws and Murray takes over, and you think, okay, so we're done.
At one point, Jack throws his glasses to the crowd.
Yeah,
I just need to point out that detail.
A very rock star move, yes.
Yeah.
He withdraws, Murray finishes, we think, okay, the scene's going to be done. And then all of a sudden, Jack appears.
Like, I think that's when he's posing.
Yeah, he's like hunched over behind the kids, like up in the bleachers. And you're like, where the heck? How did you get up there? And everybody's like, what? And they turn and look, and he starts giving this insane speech about like the nature of why crowds gather. And it's because a crowd is death proof, because to be outside of the crowd is to be on one's own and to die. He's like, yeah. And he's doing this thing, and as he's doing that, we're cutting.
That's a line he's like, I'll from the old English, from the old Norse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we cut to like this overhead shot of the train and this truck like getting ready to converge, and you're like, this is, I don't know about you, but like this is a great sequence. Like, I don't get why we're doing this, but it's really cool. Which is kind of the whole feeling of the movie. I don't know why we're doing this, but it's cool.
It's like, I don't know what this has to do with anything. I don't necessarily know what this is actually trying to say, because it's like this, the main character is like, head of advanced Nazism at the College on the Hill, and the movie never it's an absurdist comedy, so it's played for being funny, but it never makes like a claim on that. You know, it's not doing this to be like, look at the way the world's gone. It's just almost here's the thing, right? It's almost just white noise, right?
Yeah.
It's just there is nothing to it, right? It's like, it's not trying to make a statement by that fact. It's just like, wait, did he just, and the whole time, you know, like kind of like, yeah, like I think this movie kind of can lose you the way it treats Hitler because it kind of just matter of factly like, this guy studied Hitler's whole life.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to stake his claim. He wanted to get in on the ground floor of Hitler, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just funny.
The Hitler conference is coming to the college on the fall.
And
on the Hill in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and he's embarrassed because he doesn't really speak German, even though he requires his students to take a minimum of 1 year of German. So he's been taking private tutor lessons with a tutor to learn how to speak German. But something happens between the back of his tongue and the roof of his mouth that prevents him from being able to properly articulate. Yeah, like this is part of the satire as well of like college in general, is kind of like, it's a lot of just white noise. Like you're going in there, you're listening to these guys talk, and most of the things you study, like women's studies, gender studies, whatever studies, psychology, most of the people I know took psychology. That's a useless study. You're wasting money. They might as well just be going to Elvis studies or Hitler studies or watching footage of car crashes. Like it doesn't tell you anything. Yeah. And I mean, technically, psychology is a little more useful than probably these things.
And advanced Nazism.
Yeah, but like still,
probably the right type of psychology.
Right. It's just funny that this is like kind of the movie's attitude, and the book's attitude is just like, look at these academics. They're really in love with the sound of their own voice. And he gives this speech, and as it builds, you intercut it with this magnificent, I'd say about half practical, half CG. I've not seen any VFX breakdowns, but I'm fairly...
It's gotta be.
Yeah, and you just think like, automatically, what could you film for real and what couldn't you? Like the explosion is real, but then the plume is fake. Some of the train cars are probably animated. Some of them are real, but like...
Magnificent action.
Yes. This movie had $140 million budget. Every bit of that cash is on the screen. You see it in every frame. Honestly, I'm surprised it wasn't more. Like,
this movie looks incredible.
It does.
In every scene. It is just like, and I almost want to like place the emphasis on production design way more than it's shot, because it's shot on film, ?
Yes.
And on anamorphics. So with decent lighting, that's just gonna look good. And it has great lighting and incredible environments to operate in. And it's lit very well. It's lit in a way that blends the production design and cinematography like seamlessly. So this is like, seriously, like I was watching this movie like, this is one of the best things like I've ever seen. Like visuals alone. Like put the film on mute and just show me it's incredible.
Yeah, the production design, and I mean that's something we can either get into right now. I don't think interrupting what little semblance of a plot is really going to...
We're at a part break too in the movie, so we kind of can chill out.
Let's camp on it. One of the things that strikes me, and I mentioned this last night, which was everything has texture. Everything. There, aside from the college, in their home, in the Gladney's home, there's not, as far as I can tell, a single painted wall. It's all wallpaper. It's all patterns. It's all tightly controlled color palettes. Their bed has like that half-round headboard that's quilted with like a kind of gray salmon pink corduroy ? And then the bookshelf over that is then cut out to fit it, and their wallpaper in the bedroom is like this deep midnight blue with a floral pattern that's only maybe one shade lighter than it. Everything is textured. Everyone's clothes.
Yeah.
Like, take over, because like
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like and I am not well attuned to this type of stuff, but even the like color choice in props is not necessarily like this wildly motivated thing, but it's unique and it's enough to capture your eye. His glasses he wears are tinted blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the grocery store, which is kind of the one of the central places in this film, is like all colored, all these colors in specific ways with specific props and a very I mean, I'm saying the other side of the coin of what you just said, like a tactile feel to this film. This film feels real, and I think in there's movies that do that to a point and maybe like check some of the same boxes of what we've talked about before of like our shot on film or our shot on anamorphic, that then this goes the extra step of the way it's lit and the way the production design is, that just adds such important layers to what's there. And I think the way, meaning like it, you can have the coolest camera and lens combo, but the art is really in what it films. Yeah. You can only do so much with what you film. And granted, there are cinematographers who can do things with a boring room that look gorgeous, right? Mm-hmm. Like all the like naturalism of like Roger Deakins is kind of that a lot of the time. Don't get me wrong, some of those movies have incredible production design that's way more subtle than this. But still, like, this is just, you take the 80s and you just place it on this film, and it's every scene has so much detail and so much and colors that are like interesting to look at and are like don't feel like a part of this modern color palette that we've become accustomed to. Like this movie just like has different colors than films. Like there's greens in this film that are so interesting. Like when they're at the camp, as we're getting this in the film, like there's greens in those scenes that are like so interesting. And it's like almost like some of the film that didn't get processed the same between shots. So there's even that like feels just real in like a
when they're at the camp, they're underexposed by a great margin. And when film is underexposed, it has a very different look. And it makes it look dated. Everything about this movie, to piggyback, not to take you off of this, but to piggyback on the whole 80s thing, is I think we've become accustomed now, because the 80s revival's been running since Stranger Things season 1 in 2016. So for the last 10 years, we've been waterboarded with the 80s. However, the 80s, as we know it today, is kind of this neon, like perfect, polished version of what we want the 80s to be. And the actual 80s of the 80s still had a lot of 70s bleed over. And you see that in White Noise. Like there are frames from White Noise, especially toward the middle and the end, where if you just freeze frame it and you didn't know what movie it was, both the lighting and the production design and the color palette could conceivably be a movie from 1975, 73. It could be a Brian De Palma film. It could be a late era 60s Hitchcock thing. There's that part in the camp where they're in silhouette talking to each other and there's just this green behind them. And that's basically just Vertigo. Like they're just doing shots from Vertigo. And yeah, I really appreciated the color palette in this thing because it wasn't neon. It was very grounded colors. All of the colors had more of a warmth to them. In the A&P, everything's orange and yellow and red. And then there's other colors, but orange, yellow, and red are like the main ones. And everything is very warm. And even the lighting, there's a thing I noticed this fourth time around was that even in the home, there's never white light, ever. Even the whitest light we have is probably the big diffused light above the kitchen table, like above the dining room table. And that light is still tinted ever so slightly teal. It's not perfect white. There is no perfect white light in this movie, ever. Everything's colored.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really, really good looking movie. That's what I have to say. Like, it was almost distractingly so at times. If the movie wasn't so like, go, we're going, it would probably be distractingly good looking.
Well, and it's interesting too, because there are other movies I can think of that are colorful and that have a really good production design. But they tend to be a little chaotic in their color choices. And what really blew my mind the more I looked at this on these, third and fourth watchings is that there is every color imaginable in this movie, but it's so tightly controlled, not in a limited sense, but just in the sense that nothing ever feels clashing or out of place. Even in the big crowd scenes, everyone's in period costuming. It's every color, but you're never getting two people standing next to each other that are both wearing yellow. You know what I mean? Like there's never clashing.
Yeah.
Even at the end when they're in the A&P and everyone's dancing for the entire duration of the credits, there are people that are holding hand carts that are the exact same shade as whatever color they're wearing. There's a black woman in the foreground in the lower right of frame who's wearing mustard yellow, a very specific shade of mustard yellow, and the hand cart she's holding is the same shade. That was a choice. That wasn't accidental. And there's no one else around her wearing yellow. It's a crowd of like 50, 60, 70 people.
Yeah.
The amount of work in this thing, and the A&P itself.
Yeah.
That was a Home Depot, I believe, that they then went into and filled with period accurate aisles that are all perfectly straight, perfectly stocked. There's no missing anything. Like, it's nuts. Yeah. It's really, really nuts. That's our little detour at our act break here into production design.
So the airborne toxic event.
Yes.
This is part 2 of the film.
Yes.
Which, by the way, great band name. Like, it's a great band. The Airborne Toxic Event. I don't know if you've ever listened to them. Yeah. They're a good band. They get their name from the book. Good band. Shout out Airborne Toxic Event.
Yeah.
And you get this great moment where Jack takes out the garbage, and then he sees that Heinrich is up on the roof, and then he's looking out the window, and then it's the dinner table, and Jack's paying bills, and all the kids are freaking out about this train crash.
Yeah, you can see the black cloud of toxic chemicals on the horizon.
Yeah, and he's just matter-of-factly calming them down of everything they come up with, and he's just because that's what it is. And he's oh, good, to everything that's said.
Yeah,
and then it's well, it just is that way.
Well, the wind might be blowing down this way because it doesn't come that way. Because but there's a cold air coming from Canada because there's always cold air coming down from Canada. Everything is immediately dismissed.
Yeah. Dismissed in this fatherly way that is just so fun. Because I said and it's kind and gentle and reassuring, but also totally denying what's actually happening as these kids are but what if this is the case? And he's it's not. It's just not going to be the way. What's for dinner? Why aren't we having dinner yet?
Yeah, I love that too. Is he's more, and they played that so well because you can tell he and his wife are both concerned about this, but they're trying to tamp that down so that the kids don't get concerned because they know they're taking their cues from them. And he's also I think we should just eat and keep some normalcy happening, and I'm hungry. And he just keeps bringing that up. I love it. I love that Denise, the minute she hears that one of the symptoms of the toxin is you get sweaty palms, she immediately has sweaty palms. Everything they're talking about, she's experiencing.
They've upgraded it to a feathery cloud, and he's oh, good, they're coming to grips with what it is.
Yeah, they're coming to terms with the thing.
They're able to look at it squarely now.
They're looking it more squarely in the eye.
Okay.
And then doesn't Heinrich come down and he's well, they're not calling it the black feathery plume anymore. They're calling it blah blah. It's more of a great black hanging thing, blah blah blah. And then I think it's Steffi who's well, why don't they call it that? And the line that's brilliant that gets stepped on immediately by Babette coming in on the phone is Jack retorts to her and he's well, because she's why don't they call it that? And it was this long thing. He's well, airtime is valuable. They don't want to go into long, tortured explanations about things. And it's that gets stomped on so quickly by Babette coming in and saying something else entirely. It's an amazing line. It really, really is.
It really, yeah. And then Babette has all these questions, and they're just what's going on? And then Babette and him have a moment, and Jack have a moment where they're talking about making dinner, and it's a really intimate moment between them that's super unexpected.
Yeah.
And then it just goes back to I'm gonna make chili fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's Okay.
I love the way they portray the intimacy between these characters because it's very lived in, it's very comfortable. It's not like what we normally see in Hollywood movies where everybody's like really horned up and they're like everything's an innuendo. It's more just like she sits on his lap, expresses some concern. He's like kind of fiddling with the back of her bra, but then he's like, "Hey, by the way, I'm hungry. What's for dinner?" And she's like, "Oh, I can make chili fried chicken." He's like, "Cool." Like it's just this very
Yeah. And
it's
they like they seem to have this like really good relationship, at least like on the surface, and like they're always honest to each other. Like that's the setup. That's which is kind of genius, is that they're like, well, they tell each other everything.
right.
And like, I don't know, lived in is a good way to put it. I can't improve on that. So then they sit down to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
We get brought out the chicken, and Adam Driver takes a bite out of this chicken that is just hilarious. Like I can only imagine filming that and like everyone having to take that so serious, but he takes this bite out of like a chicken breast like the wrong way. It's just genius.
Yeah, you didn't think there was a wrong way, but let me assure you, folks at home, there is absolutely a wrong way, and that's the wrong way. Yeah, it's a very quiet dinner. You can feel the tension of everyone kind of just going, all right, this is normal. This is fine. And then the air raid sirens go off. And that's when it really takes off at like 200 miles an hour because the air raid sirens are going off and everybody's like, oh, I think we gotta do something. And Heinrich goes outside.
Yeah. He goes outside and it's like, please evacuate. Please evacuate. Cloud of deadly chemicals. Cloud of deadly chemicals is what they say. That's like, please evacuate. And then we see a car from one of the neighbors like bust out of the driveway and knock down their garbage cans. And then they go in and there's a line, I forget what precedes it, but in that scene where he's like, we gotta get going, Adam Driver's like, okay. And it's just this line delivery of okay. That's fantastic.
I love when he first goes in and he's telling them, guys, like they want us to evacuate, blah, blah, blah. And both the parents are still in this weird stage of denial.
Yeah. Was it just like a suggestion?
Yeah. Or what did it seem more urgent? He's like, I don't know. They were just like, the cloud of deadly chemicals. And then
it's like you can't tell it's over the speaker. You can't tell the subtle intonations of the voice,
the subtle edges of intonation. I love that. I love how you're still being somewhat condescending, even though you're trying to dismiss this. And then like Steffi just breaks down crying, and it's at that moment they're like, okay, because like Denise already started throwing up.
Oh no, it's okay when he's looking out of the window earlier on. Adam Driver like laboriously looks out the window at the plume cloud, and he goes. That's when he just all his line is, okay.
Yeah.
He starts to freak out more, and then he's like, make sure Wilder doesn't get in the insulation.
Right. Yeah, that's great because that's still happening while so many things are happening. Denise throws up.
But yeah, Denise
like,
throws up.
She's showing outdated symptoms. Like things just keep happening.
It's so great because they keep updating what the symptoms of this deadly toxic chemical could be, and they're all so different, and they end up being heart palpitations and deja vu.
Yes, that was my favorite. And the look on Adam Driver's face when Heinrich tells him that is like, come on, like, is this what we're doing? Heart palpitations and deja vu.
Yeah.
And so they evacuate reluctantly, and like that's full on chaos, very Spielberg. Like there are moments during this sequence that are very Spielberg.
Yeah. So it's like dramatic scenes of like car, like traffic jams. They're driving down the highway and they see like people in a furniture store.
Oh yeah, it's raining and there's people in a furniture store.
Yeah, it's like maybe there's a sale.
Yeah, why are they buying furniture at night? Do they know something we don't know? Like, it does a really good job of capturing the feeling of what it would be like to have to do that because you don't know anything and you're hearing nothing but that you're hearing white noise of like all these different things. The radio keeps telling you different stuff. And like, I love how the kids are looking at other cars to figure out how scared they should be based on how everyone else is reacting.
Yeah, they're laughing. They're terrified.
Yeah, that's great. And then like the radio's like, you should stay inside. And they're like, well, they told us to leave. And they're like, well, now you should stay inside. Whatever you do, get back inside. And there's that car that like drives past them.
Yes.
And crashes. And what I love about that too, and maybe you pick up on this, is like it crashes. And all it really does is it like pancakes one car, flips over onto another, and it's upside down, like that's it. And then they drive past the aftermath, which is like a quarter-mile long. And there's like
just chaos.
It's chaos. There's like a person dead on the sidewalk. There's like the whole side of a Winnebago is ripped open, and there's like a dude sitting in a chair, like watching.
And his wife brings him a beer.
Yeah. Like, and they're looking at all this, and I love how, like, for no reason, Heinrich starts narrating their experience to them.
That just happened.
Right. And Adam Driver's looking at things going, is this just what happened from like, how did all this happen from that one car?
Well, yeah. And what's genius about, or like, I hate to maybe make it that, but what's so fun about that scene is like, you see the car coming around, and they're like, there's a car coming around, and Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig turn around and go like, well, that's illegal. Yeah. And you just see it like
very
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like, very Spielberg. Dude, there's so much. I feel like
for the folks at home, we are like 40 minutes in
maybe
to the 2-hour and 10-minute movie.
Yes, it's dense. It's very dense.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah. So then like they have to go to get gas because they run out of gas.
First, don't we get a glimpse of the cloud, or is that after?
That's after the gas.
Okay.
Which is an amazing moment, but that's after the gas. They go to get gas, which there's weird conversations there too, because like even while all this is happening, they need to listen to the radio. Denise is like, "Can we play my mix?" And they're like, "No, like we need to listen to the radio, like find out what's going on." And then they're like, "Oh, we're about to run out of gas," and the mom's like,
They make extra.
Yeah, there's always extra. They make it so that the tank doesn't run out. And you're like, well, you have to run out sometime.
It's like, well, then why do we need gas?
Right. What is it Murray says earlier in the movie? He sets the stage for this because he's like, families like have constant misinformation. There's just like this thing about family where you're just always accidentally lying to each other and like nobody knows what's really going on. And so they get to the gas station. Jack has to get out of the car to pump the gas because there's no attendant there. And he's standing out in the rain for like 2 minutes. And while he's doing that, there's a really cool shot of like the moon getting covered by the cloud of toxic chemicals.
The Shell station. It's the Shell station.
The Shell sign. Thank you.
And when that happened, I was like, oh, dang, this is cool.
Yeah.
Which is like, this is like a really good VFX shot.
Yeah.
But it's so effective because it's like, oh, snap. The plume's behind him.
Yeah, it stops raining for a minute, and then like the cloud comes in, and then when the cloud passes, it starts raining again. You're like, well, you're pretty much toast now. That's not going to be good.
Yeah.
And so they keep driving, and then that's when we get the big Spielberg shot of like the reveal. There's like helicopters going overhead, and you see this massive like Stranger Things-esque purple cloud of toxic chemicals with lightning inside it. And everybody's getting out of their cars and like looking at it with Spielberg face going like, whoa! And the music is swelling. It's a great moment. It's a great moment. Again, if the three of you are listening to this and you still haven't seen the movie, it's not too late.
Come on.
It's not too late. We haven't spoiled everything yet.
Yeah, believe you me.
They're not even halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
We're at like 50 minutes right now.
Yeah, we are. Well, yeah, the gas station seems like 48 minutes because that's when I texted you. When I was like, I don't know. I think I stopped to pee and I walked out and I walked past Dad and I went, I don't know what I'm watching, but it's pretty great.
You should have brought your dad in on this one, man. I'd have loved to have gotten Mark's perspective, but then our episode would be like twice as long.
Yeah, I might make him watch it. He sounds interested because I was kind of ranting about it at the table. I think he would too.
It's got really Mark Matsky written all over it.
I think he'd get a kick out of it.
Mark also, to me, your dad feels like, and I know you'll understand this in the proper spirit. Your dad, to me, feels like in another universe, he could have been like Jack. Like he could have, like that's his fathering. Like if you guys were in the middle of an airborne toxic event and had to leave, I feel like your dad would be this kind of like calm, somewhat odd but fatherly center of the chaos. I feel like there's some relatability there.
Yeah.
So so there's that big thing, and then they end up at the camp, which I love how the plan was. We're gonna evacuate you like a few miles up the road to a camp. That'll be fine enough. It won't move that far. They end up at the camp, which there's some great moments at the camp.
Oh, there's some great moment because Denise is the one who realizes she was exposed to the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he goes and he like
whoever those dudes are, like the
interacts
guys.
With, yeah, the Simivac guys, which he goes like, how's it going? It's like, that's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing? He's like, and he's the whole like, what's up with this? Like, wait, is this a simulation? No, it's real, but we thought it would be a good opportunity to practice the simulation.
Mm-hmm. I love when he asks him, like, so, how's that going? He's like, well, the insertion curve isn't as smooth as we'd like. And that makes no sense. And he's like, also, the victims aren't laid out where we want them to be if it was a real simulation, but, we're making do. He's like, okay. Yeah. And when he, like, talks to him about, I forget what he says. There's a woman behind him in the line who just, like, starts crying abruptly at everything that he says.
Yeah. Well, she's crying regardless. And I think that's when he's like, how's it going?
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, she's crying regardless. There's a lady who makes an announcement before that who's like, oh, if you've been exposed to the...
I think that's Chloe Fineman. I think it's one of the current SNL cast members. Because I've seen her credited in the movie, and it's like Simuvac agent number 5 or something. I'm like, I don't recognize her, but I'm guessing that's her, because no one else seems mildly familiar.
And she's like, hello, you've been exposed to the toxic chemicals for at least 10 minutes or for more than 10 seconds.
Right. Please proceed over to wherever. And so like Jack's trying to get like a diagnosis and figure out like
the guy's putting stuff in the computer and Jack tells him some information and then the guy goes at one point he says, I'm getting bracketed numbers with pulsating stars. Great line of dialogue that again is probably immediately stepped on. It's like, well, what's that mean? What's that mean?
Like, well, it means we definitely have a situation. I love how completely unhelpful all that is. It's perfect. It really is like this movie, even though it's absurdist. I was telling Dad about it this morning. I'm like, I think he said, I don't think it's absurd enough. Because if you actually think about like the very recent COVID thing that we were doing and the absurdity of all that, like it was the same nonsense. It was the same, like, if you need to stand 6 feet apart, 5 feet, you're dead. 6 feet is good. Yeah. The virus can't go 6 feet, and you should wear a mask unless you have to eat. Then take the mask down, but then put the mask right back up. Like, there's all those weird things.
I want to pick up on that in a bit. Okay, that's really part of me digesting this film that really made stuff click. Then we'll get to that.
So Simuvac guy, he's dealing with him. Yeah. He tells him basically like it's long range, so we'll know more in 15 years.
Yeah, because Jack's afraid to die.
Yeah,
and this is like his worst nightmare. It'll outlive him.
Yeah,
and then Murray's in the camp,
which is super strange.
Yeah, and they have like an interaction where Murray gives him a gun.
Well, to fend off the orgiastic hordes.
Yeah,
which is another great line. I want to add that to the bank. I want to put that in our vernacular. The orgiastic hordes.
It's like. And because maybe if you kill, you can beat death.
Yeah, there are
which
killers
useful
and there
character
are
is just like saying stuff, and it's like, what are you actually saying right now?
Yeah, he's kind of, even in the book, he was kind of just like this guy. They actually made him less weird in the movie. In the book, he's this old Jewish guy who like lives in a one-room apartment who doesn't have a stove, but instead just cooks everything on a hot plate, and he has like, I forget if it's that he has a foot fetish or he reads like lingerie ads or something. I forget what it is.
They made him less weird.
They made him less weird. Yeah, they turned him into Don Cheadle and made him less weird. But like in the book, Jack's father-in-law, who's like this cowboy type who's dying of cancer or something, gives him the gun like way after the fact. It comes in at a weird moment. It actually makes as little sense as it makes in the movie. It actually makes more sense in the movie than it does in the book. I'll just tell you that.
Like, that's fair.
Because it does
power of
come out of
adaptation.
nowhere. Yeah,
the power of adaptation. There, you can kind of tweak some things to make a little more sense.
So yeah, there are killers and there are dyers, and if you kill, maybe you gain life credit or something.
We have this great moment where he finally confronts her about Dylar, which is what the Vertigo shot you're talking about, where they're in silhouette and there's just green behind them.
Unmotivated, very theatrical staging, and it's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I don't know if it's before that or after that, but there's a scene that's like a dolly crane zoom shot over the bunk beds that then ends up on Greta Gerwig taking a pill.
Yeah.
That is a moment where I was just like, this is incredible. This is great. This is all I want. I don't need flying airplanes into terminals and blowing them up. I just need shots like this that like.
Did you clock the little bit of warp stabilizer toward the end of that shot as we get close to her? Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of has to like.
Yeah, it's because you're on probably like a Technicrane, which is not the most stable thing, and you're got a big 35 millimeter camera on it, so it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's a bit of stabilization, but it's still great. It's still great.
Yeah.
So what happens? Oh, they sleep, and then there's a rude awakening because now everyone's scrambling because we got to evacuate again to a new place because now the cloud's back or something.
And
I don't know.
This scene is great. Like, it's wild, which there's all this chaos.
Mm-hmm. And there are jokes in the chaos.
Yeah.
Like, stuff is happening in the background that's a joke, and it's like part of the choreography.
One of the F-bombs in this movie is that's a effing horse because a horse comes out of nowhere.
I was listening for it and I still didn't catch it.
Subtitles, man. That's the only reason. It's the only reason I clocked that one.
Okay. Because I can only count one and it's at the end.
Yeah. And it's great. Like, to be fair, like I think they thought they were gonna get two.
Mm-hmm.
And so they made the one just throwaway, I guess.
Yeah. Well, supposedly there's three, according to IMDb, and for the life of me, I don't know where that third one is, because 2 is allowable in PG-13. So I don't know why this movie's R. We'll get to that again later, but like...
I think I do, but we'll get to it later,
okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
We'll get next chapter break. We can maybe get to why I think it's... Well, no, we'll do it at the end, because it involves...
Okay, that works.
Yeah, it involves the whole plot of the movie.
Right.
So, and then what's the youngest daughter forgets her, loses her bun.
Oh yeah, the bunny.
So Adam Driver has to go back, and then
he gets like knocked down, and
he's crawling, and the dude that grabs it is the guy with the like scar and the like skinny guy, and you're like, wait, is that guy real?
Yeah.
Even though this movie's absurd, it's like, wait a second.
Also, you don't see his face. He like holds the bunny up in front of his face, and it's shallow depth of field, and you're like, I still don't know who this is.
And then I think he has a mask on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has
straight
a mask
up
on.
like, yeah. And so then they get in their car, and Adam Driver notices some like anti-gun control guys, and he's like, we're gonna follow them. They know how to survive.
And then it kind of turns into Dukes of Hazzard. They like drive through the woods,
or like almost like the beginning of Evil Dead 2. Or like
Kinda.
Early parts of Evil Dead 2, where they're just like driving through the dirt and like stuff's happening and the camera's just like whipping around trying to like.
I love how the Jeep keeps ending up impossibly either behind them, ahead of them, to the side of them. Like they keep losing it and they're like, oh, it's behind us now. And he like turns around. And they're like, well, they're over there. And then he fords the creek.
Then he drives into the creek. And Hyrek, who's kind of this like magical know-it-all, is like, turn it off. Turn off the engine of the car. They do, and they just kind of float and meander and Adam Driver acts like steering the wheel is what's moving the car, but it's really these rocks.
Yeah, it's not doing anything. I love how in that moment, and even leading up to it, while they're still driving on land, at one point Steffi just starts barking. And Denise is just like, you're right, that is good. Like they're still having, like there's all this going on. And they're still having these conversations.
And it's like, they're like, do it. And she starts barking. And it is like, yeah, that's
good.
You're not joking. You're not doing a bit. It's really what Beth says. That's like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. They're always still somehow self-involved despite what's going on. They end up in the creek. And the minute they hit the creek,
start barking.
And it's a good bark. It is. It sounds like a little dog.
And that's what it's like. It's like, yeah, that is good. I forgot your bark impression is really good.
And like they end up in the creek, and the minute they hit the water, there's like splash. And there's a pause, and she's like, Dad, do camels have eyelashes? And it's like, does no one want to, like, this is literally like verbatim, like, does no one want to actually pay attention to what's happening now? Like we're floating, and then they're like, wait, is there a waterfall? And we're like, uh-oh.
And then they all panic.
Right. And eventually they get out. And then he just kind of like,
And then he goes to fly off. Yeah, they just ramp. And then Wilder's like, again.
Yeah. I love
and then
the cars
they
like
do all this
bouncing.
They do all this to then cut through a cornfield where an Asian family is in a car and the traffic jam is just all there. And he like goes in front of this Asian family and waves.
Yep. And they wave at him in the line.
And then it's just the traffic jam.
Yeah, like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
There's something really funny about, and it's in that kind of Wes Anderson, Napoleon Dynamite kind of Barry Sonnenfeld tradition of like you have a wide shot, an unmoving static wide shot, and you just see something going from left to right in the frame, and it's the car with like a busted, I don't know, cars. There's something's up with the shocks because they just ramped it. The car's going like that, like really fast, and then plows into a cornfield, and you're like, that's just a funny shot. It's just really funny. Yeah, so they end up taking them. I forget where we go. We go to like the city, and they're all in like a building.
And then a random guy has a monologue about how like they only said a little bit about them on the news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has a monologue.
And then he has deja vu.
He has deja vu. Yeah, he has deja vu, which is great.
About Adam Driver.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go back.
Yeah, right? It's like time jump. Yeah, that's when we get part 3. Then it goes Dial-O-Rama, and it's time jump, and there's just this weird little bit of narration where Jack's like, it was 9 days before they let us go home. And now they're back at the supermarket like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
And Murray's like, the supermarket's better than ever.
Because it has a butcher and a baker.
Yeah. And a candlestick maker.
Wow, I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
Thinking about this movie.
Well, so this is our act break if you want to introduce other thoughts. Because we're effectively just kind of taking this movie blow by blow, which I figured we would since it's so dense.
I'll put this in here. It was in Act 3 that I realized this movie was shot in Northeast Ohio, and that made me very happy.
What made you realize?
When they're in the flats, so when they're on the bridge, I went, I think I've been there.
Yeah.
I think that's Cleveland. And then there's another shot of like Adam Driver, and I'm like, I think that's Cleveland behind it.
Yeah.
And then after that whole scene, which is, we'll get to it, they're driving and it's the Guardians Bridge. And I went, it is in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like, I think audibly, I might have done that to myself. And then I Googled
name of that bridge. Is it just called the Guardians Bridge?
It's known as the Guardians Bridge.
Okay. I don't know.
And there's another name. There's a name for the bridge they're under, which is a different one.
Oh, when he's in Germantown?
That's like, when he's in Germantown, that's the East Bank of the Flats. And like, that's where I had my junior homecoming. And
under the bridge?
Yeah, there's stuff there. That's like where the aquarium is. And like,
see, I don't know that.
It's not actually a seedy motel there. That's fake.
I was wondering.
Like, the aquarium's there, which is where we had prom or whatever the heck it was, homecoming, who cares? And that's where there's restaurants and like comedy clubs and places like that. And that's where Mark proposed to Holly. It was like right there.
Oh, sweet.
Like a bit north of where that all happened. So it was like it was like, I know there's other places under bridges in the world, but that's gotta be Cleveland.
It was.
And then I realized that like lots of places in all this movie was shot in Northeastern Ohio, at least the vast majority of it.
So you know, you're correct about that. When she's running up at the beginning of the movie, she's running up and down the stadium steps. You know where that's at, right?
No,
that's right over here.
Is that actually
Central Catholic High School? It's a block. It's literally a few minute drive from my house. Central Catholic, just down the street. They shot that in June of 21. I was here. I don't know. This movie was all over Ohio for all of 2021. For 6 months, it was here. I don't know how I missed it.
Wow.
It's a massive $140 million Netflix crew. They shot at Central Catholic. They shot in Ashtabula. They shot in all over Ashtabula.
I don't know where they shot in Ashtabula. They shot in Peninsula. That's where the camp is.
Yep. They shot
Bedford. The store was in Bedford.
Was it? Okay, so they shot there. They shot at Kent State. They shot at Oberlin College. They shot like basically all of Northeast and North Central Ohio. Like just everywhere. They were just everywhere.
Yeah.
They were all over the place.
Yeah. And so that's really cool. As a Northeastern Ohio native, it was like
They
That's
shot the
crazy.
train. They shot the train crash sequence in East Palestine.
Did they actually?
Yeah, that's the funny thing.
That's wild.
And then like 3 months, no, it came out in December on Netflix. I think 2 months after it came out, a train crashed in East Palestine, and there you go, airborne toxic event. But yeah, we us living here, we all know that something happened because we were there.
Yeah, which that's really cool. I mean, that's a big. It's probably like it's either it's top 3 reasons why I top 3 things I like about James Gunn's Superman is that it's Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
Well,
and Angela worked on that.
That's cool.
She was like assistant. She was like there's not like a second unit casting, but like she was second casting, I believe, in that.
So that's cool. We'll eventually talk about Superman on the show. Part of when this podcast started is when Superman came out, and I wanted to talk about Superman with you.
Oh yeah,
and we still haven't talked about it, which is really funny to me. Which that'll be an interesting episode,
yes,
for sure. But that was just a fun treat. I mean, it's neat, and it just adds a fun level of enjoyment to this film. That's cool.
And I mean, that's the only reason I watched it initially, was because they're like, oh, they shot this in East Palestine and a train just crashed there. What's this movie about a train crash?
Yeah. And it turned out to be this. But yeah, so then we get to the third act of this film, like the literal third part, which is Dial-O-Rama. Dial-O-Rama. And this is when the movie you think we've been talking crazy this much. Just you wait.
Yeah.
And maybe you're might be a little early for this, but this movie takes kind of some left turns content wise. So if you're like listening to this show with small children, elderly, faint of heart,
I don't know. I feel like we're being a little dramatic here.
If I mean, we did talk about 7 on this show.
Yeah.
But we did also 7. We did also skip like the worst parts of 7. So like,
yeah, this movie's still nowhere near.
This is just camp. and it's all, and what's fascinating, getting ahead of ourselves, is it's just all discussed.
Right.
Like it's talked about.
Well, and this is why I don't know why it's R.
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay.
But I don't understand why they did what they did to make it R. And we will talk about this, because we keep setting this up like this is going to be the big climax of the show, but it's really not. It's just something we're waiting to talk about. So walk us through Dial-O-Rama.
Okay, so it's been 9 days after the disaster. Everyone's allowed to go home. Everyone's trying to adjust to like this idea that, well, okay. And just like in real life too, like you just kind of go, okay, well, we're all going to go back to this place that's now tainted by toxins. And we're just going to kind of live with that. And so Jack's going to his doctor, which is amazing. It's this Asian doctor who's like super chipper. He's like every Asian doctor you've ever had all rolled into one. And he keeps having checkups, and the doctor's like, I don't like your potassium at all. He's like, well, would that be because I was maybe exposed to something? He's like, were you? And he's like, no. And he's like, well, and you would have no reason to lie to me, so I don't think it's a problem at all. And so like there's that. And then
the patient-doctor
relationship, which is so corporate and so hilarious to me. And then basically we still have this weird thing, like now that we've kind of shifted the focus away from the immediate threat, which was the airborne toxic event. Now our focus shifts back to the original subplot, which is now the main plot, which is what the heck is Babette taking and why is she lying about it? And by the way, she teaches like these classes for seniors.
Posture?
Yeah, posture classes. And she keeps going out for longer at times. And you're like, seems like something's going on that shouldn't be going on. And so I forget the exact order in which this happens, but Denise and Jack find the Dial-O-R. She's hidden it under like the radiator cover. And so he steals a pill to have his neuroscientist friend analyze it. And she basically just tells him, I don't know. It's just ingenious. That's all I know. It's like this weird pill with a hole in it that releases the da 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 da. And he's like, so what does it do? And she's like, I don't know. Something psychological, I'm sure, but I don't know. So he doesn't really get answers. There's a great scene where Denise convinces him, I think prior to that, to call. Yes, it's prior to that. Sorry. To call Babette's doctor at home at 10 at night.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic.
The doctor's like PO'd, like, you're calling me a doctor at home because she's forgetful.
Yeah.
You know, what would the world come to if everyone...
It would be chaos. I love, it's that Coen Brothers thing of like characters that don't use contractions just sound hilarious because no one talks like this. And when he's like, well, you know, it's a white pill. He's like, you would call a doctor at 10 o'clock at night at home to tell him that his wife is forgetful and that she's taking a white pill. Why not tell me it is round? This is crucial to our case. It's like, wow.
This is crucial to our case. It's
amazing.
Yeah.
He's reaming him out in like the most polite way possible. And effectively, he gets nowhere with finding that out.
Yeah, like you might as well tell me she's gassy. It's like, well, is she gassy?
That's right. He does say gassy. So basically, they still don't know what it is. They just know that it's off market and no one's ever heard of Dylar ever. And so one night, Babette goes out and like
she's teaching a new class.
Yeah.
At the church.
And he asks her something about
what is it? Oh, what's the class about? The class is about like eating and drinking?
Yes, eating and drinking. Eating and drinking. It should be obvious, but not so much. And then when he asks her, like he presses her a bit on it, he's like, well, it's like it's almost night. And it's a great line with her from that too, which is like, what is night? It happens seven days a week. Where's the uniqueness in this? And then she just walks away. And I'm like, that's how I'm going to start responding to any random BS that I don't want to answer. I'm just going to be like, where's the uniqueness in this? And then walk away. So she comes home and Jack confronts her, which is also a great throwaway joke because it's like a lamp that has to click to various levels.
It starts super bright and then he like clicks it off
and then click, and like cycles through it a couple times. It's that classic, like, we've been waiting for you in the dark, except I love that. I love any joke that does something like that. And so he kind of backs her into a corner. Literally, she backs into the closet in their bedroom upstairs. And then he's like, you're outmaneuvered. We know about the Dylar, so just tell me, like, why you been lying, right? But he doesn't say that. And then we get like a very protracted scene where she like spills her guts about what's been going on, which is a really hilarious scene.
Yeah.
But also like a really heartfelt scene. It's very well acted. Like, again, kudos to everyone involved.
And it's also like a brutal scene, right? She tells him she has this condition and she like has been going to doctors for it.
For like a year and a half.
And no one could give her an answer. And he's like, what's the condition? And she's like, that's not important right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
She says that in like the most Shakespearean way. That's not important.
Babette confides and reveals. This is the whole purpose of Babette.
And that's never explained in any certain way. And that's kind of crazy. And like, what? But okay.
It's an amazing line.
And so she tells him that she eventually like tried all these ways to find her condition. She was even like interested in the occult.
Yeah.
Like we've previously established.
Yeah, she hid occult books in the attic.
And so she finally found an ad in a tabloid for this. And so she goes to this, it's a part of some research group, and there's this composite person. Let's make this composite person of 3 or 4 individuals. Let's call him Mr. Gray.
I love that.
Which, yeah, that is so good.
One of those long gray buildings with low profile shrubbery. I love the descriptions of these things.
And this scene is just them talking to each other.
Yeah.
Just them talking
in a very well lit room.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And the experiment gets canceled, but she still wants to like do these pills that she's a part of. And so then she makes an agreement with Mr. Gray and then Adam Driver's confused as to whether Mr. Gray is still a composite person.
Yeah, well, because like it involves an indiscretion.
Yeah, an indiscretion.
Yeah. So like the agreement is, look, we got our funding canned because the drug was deemed too dangerous. And she's like, well, I still want to take the drug. And he's like, well, tell you what, you have sex with me on a regular basis at this seedy motel, and I'll give you the drug, and we can just do our own experiment. And Adam Driver's like, wait, this is a composite person.
Yeah, wait. Yeah,
let's focus on the genitalia, just for one. And I love that confusion.
Yeah, and that's like this scene is super dramatic, and she's like working herself up, like telling her husband like what she's done that he's been hiding, and he's like, "Wait, is Mr. Gray still a composite? Like, what are you agreeing?
How many people are we doing here?
How many pairs of what?
Right. I love that." And she's like, "He is now one." He's like, "Okay, like one person, the project manager." Yeah, continue.
Yeah, and she just like, and it's this whole like. This kind of like gut punch scene of her talking about how like this was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't anything she enjoyed.
Oh yeah, she wore a ski mask so she didn't have to kiss him.
Which is a throwaway joke of like Denise missing her ski mask earlier is made like this like awful thing, and like that she hated it, and she like, and that Babette like completely disassociated, and all she remembers is the TV in the top.
She was remote.
Corner. She was remote.
And so, again, back to the acting in this. This moment goes through so many highs and lows in this scene. And they really do a good job of selling, like, as funny as it is and as unorthodox as Adam Driver's character is, and as funny as he is, and even dealing with, like, the news, because he's like, he hears all this, and he's just kind of, like, walking around. He's like, maybe I should go. Maybe I should, like, get, like, he's like, very calmly thinking through all these emotions, going, maybe I should just leave. Was he funny?
Women
like guys who can joke about sex. I never could, and I don't think after this I'll be able to. And then he like walks out, and then he comes back in through a different door. He's like, no, okay, I think I got to know more about what's going on here. And like, there's so many moments between them where they kind of like, they start to kind of make out a bit, but then like he kind of starts to cry, and then like he's like, okay, you got to like, you're taking me this far. What was the condition? Was it worth it? And there's such a hilarious response to that, which is both funny and also kind of tragic, because he's like, I'm afraid to die. And he looks at her like, wait, you went through all this because you're afraid to die?
Yeah.
That's what my thing. This was about. Yeah.
That's my thing.
That's my thing.
I'm afraid to die. Which has been his thing this whole movie. Right. Like, that we've been working through is like his, like that the narration talks about is this like fear of death. That he has.
So we get through that whole scene. It's an amazing scene. She doesn't tell him who the guy is.
His men are known for their revenge.
Right, for their violent rage. And so through Denise, he finds out that like she threw the Dylar away, and then he goes and like tries to dig it out of the garbage.
He wants to take the Dylar.
Yeah, he wants to see if it'll work.
Maybe it'll work for him.
Right. Which I also, again, I know we keep getting mired in the little minutia, but this is the movie, is the minutia. Like, he's in Denise's room while she's sleeping, trying to find it in her closet, and she like turns on the light, and she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Don't worry, it's me." She's like, "Yeah, I know." I said,
"Don't worry, it's me." It's yeah, like great. I really want to start using that in moments when I show up in places that I shouldn't be. It's like, "What are you doing?" You'll be like, "Don't worry, it's me." It's
great. It's so fantastic. And so like we get this great like homage to Brian De Palma's Blow Up, where like he's really over dramatically like using a golf club to break the compacted trash apart, and while he's doing that, the camera's like spinning around the room, and he doesn't find the Dylar, but he finds the ad, and he calls the number, and it's like some German guy who's like, "Come to Germantown, such and such motel, room 8." And then he like gets the gun.
The movie, he gets the gun, and then the movie becomes Fear and Loathing meets
noir,
a neo-noir.
Yeah, and like Fear and Loathing / the motel sequence from No Country for Old Men.
Yeah,
and noir. It's like all of those things.
And noir, and throughout this, because this movie's been so absurd, you have no freaking clue what's about to happen next. Yeah. And like I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, especially as we get into the scene, not like when he shows up, which is when he shows up, the establishing shots. I was like, I think that's the Flats.
Oh yeah,
Sure, that's Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. It's raining. Everything's neon lit, reds and blues.
Yeah.
And he goes to the motel. The motel's super grungy. Everything's highly textured. Everything's wet and glistening. And he like sneaks up comically to the door.
Yeah.
And he enters. And when we enter, this is when it turns into Fear and Loathing. It's like this rundown motel room. There are pills all over the ground. They're like crunching under his shoes. The TV's in the corner. And there's this guy sitting with his back to him. And who is the guy?
The guy is the guy with the scars on his hands and the long hair and the skinny legs that we've been seeing throughout the whole movie.
Yep.
And it's like, oh.
Which, by the way, I think we forgot to mention, when 9 months later...
He shows up in the grocery store.
He's in the grocery store, yeah.
Yeah.
And did you catch that he's wearing those really short red shorts? Those are Babette's shorts, because she's wearing them in the scene when she's talking to Adam Driver.
Oh, wow.
They're her shorts.
Oh,
yeah.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, Adam Driver enters, and the guy's doing that thing that we always do in creepy scenes like this, where he's like not looking at you, but he's talking to you. And very heavy German accent. And he's just like, he's popping pills like candy. He's just like, he's throwing them at his face by the handful, and only 2 of them are making it in his mouth, and the rest are going on the ground.
Yeah.
He's a grotesque character. He's super gross. He's great.
Yeah, talking about learning English from TV.
Mm-hmm. This is how I learned my English. He has some of the best lines in the movie, by the way. Like, I quote his crap all the time because it's just nonsense. It's just phrases he's heard on TV.
Yeah.
Like, to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, this is what you must do. And then, like, that's it. And then he'll say something else, and you're like, what?
Yeah. And so...
Yeah, you walk us through the scene.
I mean, the scene is... I don't know how well I can, because this is... I mean, this is towards the end of this movie, which I've already feel like I've watched a movie and a half before we get here.
Yeah, and now it's a whole other movie.
But you're not quite sure... This is kind of like maybe an overview of the scene, less than as a play-by-play. You're not quite sure why Adam Driver's there. You're pretty sure he's there to kill him.
Yeah.
But you're not sure if he's there to get Dylar first.
Right.
And you're also not sure what this freaky weirdo is expecting from Adam Driver.
Right.
Which makes the whole movie, like whole scene, so...
Is he going to want money?
Yeah.
Or is something else going to happen? We're assuming money. I would imagine money, but
then he gets in bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he lays on the bed.
Gets up. Yeah. And then we get like the rage starts to build.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he starts describing Babette, but he can't remember her name. And the guy like has no memory whatsoever now. He's so like looped out on Dylar. Like he doesn't remember things. He has no clue what's going on. He keeps reciting weird passages from TV. I love the moment where he looks at Adam Driver because he's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "I want some Dylar." And he's like, "Well, you know what? You appear to me a man in middle age. Does that describe your anguish?" He's like, "Yeah." And then he looks at him and he's like, "You look to me like a man in a brown jacket and champagne pants. Tell me how right I am." Yep. There was a weird moment earlier where Babette, and it's echoed, and it's actually a false memory because Babette says a different thing the second time in his memory than she said the first time. But she said that one of the side effects of Dylar could be that you can't associate or you can't distinguish between like words and things. So if I said speeding bullet, you would hit the ground. And Adam Driver remembers it as like, if I said falling plane, you would hit the ground. And so he says that, and the guy like freaks out and jumps off the bed.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
what gets him off the bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, plummeting fuselage.
Right. And then the guy's like, "Why are you here, white man? You're very white, you know that?" He's like, "'Cause I'm dying." He's like, "This stuff fix you up." And he just starts throwing pills at him. It's so absurd.
And then does he go to the bathroom?
He hits and rolls and hides in the bathroom. And then Adam Driver cocks the gun and opens the door and like aims it at him. And the guy gets scared and starts reciting more weird nonsense from the TV. And then he sits on the toilet in the middle of this and starts taking a dump. And like, "You can eat vegetables or no meat," and he just starts reciting stuff. And then he wipes with one piece of toilet paper. With the same hand, eats 2 more Dylar. And then right before Adam Driver shoots him, he's, and I quote this. I've been quoting this for years. Right before Adam Driver shoots him, he's like, ever wonder why out of 32 teeth, these 4 cause all the trouble? Be back with the answer in a minute. Blam! And then he shoots him off the toilet. There's so many things in this scene that I've never seen before. Like, I've never seen someone get confronted by a man with a gun and decide, I got to take a dump right now.
Yeah. And then,
oh man,
Adam Driver shoots him again.
Yeah, because he's only got 3 bullets in the gun.
Yeah,
he shoots him again,
and then places the gun in his hand, and like wipes it down.
Weird,
wipes it in the sink.
Attempt.
Yeah,
I don't know what his plan was exactly.
Yeah, tries to make it look like a suicide, and then Babette shows up. Shows up, and they're like, "What's going on?" Or like Adam Driver's like, "What's going on?" And we've, as the audience, we're like pretty sure that this crazy guy, Mr. Gray's dead, but then we see him wake up, and Adam Driver doesn't. And then Babette shows up, and the guy pulls the gun out and shoots. And I think we don't even notice that Babette's there yet, do we? Till like
not 100%, yeah, something like that.
And like, I think as the audience we might, but then it skims Adam Driver's hand, the bullet, and then it hits Babette in the leg. And it's like, well, what are you doing here? And then the movie jumps right back to like absurdist, weird Shakespearean comedy.
Yeah. Because then they're like, oh, we should take him to the hospital.
Yeah. And then they're dragging him on like a blanket, and he like was like dying and coughing and dying, and then Adam Driver does mouth to mouth.
Yep.
And then he's like, who are you guys? Like, who shot me? Who shot you? And it's like, you did, but we forgive you.
Yeah. And another great line there is they're like, the gun's in your hand, you shot you. And then he looks at it and he looks at himself, he goes, what was the point I was trying to make? Which I'm gonna steal that. Like, I'm using that anytime I do something real stupid. I'll be like, what was the point I was trying to make?
Yeah.
Yeah, they load him into the car. That's where we get our only really audible F-bomb is Jack's like, I effed it up. And like, that's the only other F-bomb that I know in the movie. And then like they drive him to this weird emergency church in Germantown.
Like Catholic hospital that on the inside is like a Victorian church.
I don't know where that church was. That was a cool, like, old broken down church, though. That was cool. Whatever the heck, I don't know where that was. I'm assuming it's a real location. It didn't look like a set.
But it's like they bring him in on a shopping cart, or no, they drag him on the blanket, and then they take them on the beds, and then they get a guy has a shopping cart and like puts Mr. Gray in the shopping cart.
I love that they had 2 stretchers, and the 2 least injured people got on the stretchers, and the one guy who's mortally wounded, they just put him in a shopping cart.
Yeah.
And they like take them and separate them into different places, and they're going to go work on him. And this is where the movie kind of just loses a bit of steam, frankly. It's just weird because we're basically in the last like 5 minutes of the movie.
It loses a bit of steam, and I think my nitpick would be like in the truth, goodness, and beauty. This is probably where the movie's the least true. Right. The movie is poignantly true in crazy ways in other times, and I think reflects, a fear of death. But the whole thing with the nuns feels so much like it could land the ship, and I don't think it does, which does not ruin the movie for me. No. I think officially I'll declare that. I think it's a weird thing because there's this it's an interaction with these nuns who are like, we don't believe in heaven, but we pretend to, so that because somebody's gotta.
Which, I mean, if you look at certain doctrines, that is kind of the sentiment to a point. I mean, that is like the religious sentiment. So there's faith and there's religion. We're not going to get into that tonight, but they are different. And religion generally is like a very surface level, like we're just going to hold down the fort kind of thing.
And I like that Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig are like, well, that's lame.
Yeah.
Like, I like that part. And then the scene kind of tries to defend itself. I think if you kind of end it around the that's lame point, I'd probably like it more.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like
a nitpick from a Christian perspective is
I think it's a nitpick from the truth.
Yeah.
So like, if you're And just because it's an absurdist comedy does not mean we can't be true. In fact, I think we are true is that's making it an absurdist comedy. So like, but that's beside the point. So yeah, then I think we find out Dr. Gray's somehow gonna like be okay.
Yeah.
And it's
Hair doctor tells him that he's gonna be okay. And then like
at one point earlier, sorry, because they're all German, Adam Driver, Jack just starts counting in German.
Yeah.
He just starts going like eins, zwei, drei. Like they start like reciting German, and it's really like very elementary.
He's in his element here. Yeah. He's excited. They're real Germans. Yeah, well, and then she kind of ends on the whole like if you're not going to believe in anything, at least believe in yourselves. And it's just this kind of idea of like Jack and Babette need to like patch things up and like just deal with their fear of death head on together instead of seeking solutions outside of it. And then the sun comes up and it's very Terry Gilliam looking inside of this church, like a scene from Brazil. And then like it's the next morning and they go home. And the kids just kind of flood in. Like nothing ever happened. Like I don't know if they noticed that their parents were gone or not, or if they cared.
Yeah.
And then they go to the store, and then we get the dance number, and that's the entire credits. Is like a 7.5-minute LCD Sound System song, or like 8-minute.
Yeah,
it's ridiculously long.
And it's the entire credits is this dance number with like all the cast,
the entire cast,
just dancing.
Mm-hmm. Andre 3000's dancing in the
doing like
the generic aisle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's in this movie.
And they're doing these like weird dances, and that's the end of the movie.
Yep. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is White Noise. We've basically given you the entire movie, but I still recommend that you watch it yourselves because our kind of pathetic attempt at overviewing things is still not really doing it justice.
Feeble, compared to the film. Okay, so why is this movie rated R? In the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I think. Here's why I think this movie's rated R. In the garbage, for whatever reason, there's a drawing of that's like explicitly with like and something else. Maybe like I caught it for like 2 seconds.
For like half a second.
And it's like half a second. So I don't know.
That's not even listed on IMDb though.
I don't know why that's in there.
Throwaway joke.
And then there's something else like that
there's no nudity in the movie.
There's no nudity.
Even like the weird double exposure flashbacks of like her and him sleeping together, they're clothed.
Yeah.
There's no nudity in the movie.
There was one other. This is it. Weird. I noticed this. When Dr. Gray's in the bathroom, you can see like his.
Yeah, but that's not really.
But that's not going to be in a PG-13 movie.
No, but at the same time, I don't think. The funny thing is, when you look at the IMDb list of like why it's rated R, it doesn't.
Well, IMDb is not why it's rated R. IMDb is people in the community being like, "This stuff shouldn't."
Well, if you look at where it says it's rated R4, that's what it is. I'm not talking about their ratings, like how bad it is.
Yeah,
and so it's rated R for language. In fact, let me just bring it up because I want to remember what it says.
Which I think it's like language and something else. 2 F-bombs, and then they say like. And then they say other swear words like maybe a dozen times, which is minimal.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
and
all other swears are allowed in PG-13.
Yeah, and like a dozen seems almost hyperbolic. It's like it's not a lot.
Clearly, I counted three mild like crap, right? Not crap, but like I'm not gonna censor myself here and actually say it, but the point is like there's like 3 of those. There's 1 barely audible F-bomb and then 1 audible F-bomb at the end. There's supposedly 3. I can't find the 3rd. There might be a damn or a hell here or there, like maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Hold on, this thing is my
it's chugging.
It's because of course I need to know this like right now and it's going to be slow. Okay, it says MPAA rated R for brief violence and language. The guy got shot. There's more blood in like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, the violence there is. I see that doesn't make any sense because what I would say, there's like a legit, and I gave it right. Mm-hmm. There's a legit like content warning with like plot of the third act. I think third act is like, but that's not what that's saying. Like, I'm fully aware of the fact, but like the third act is, even though it's not graphically violent or graphically sexual.
I mean, everything is mild. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't. Everything is just says mild. It says there are 3 uses of the F-bomb. There are 7 SHIT, 2 of ass, and 1 of piss. And that's it.
Yeah. And I don't know where that third F-bomb is.
I have no clue. I listened for it. I can't find it. It says violence and gore. A man shoots another man several times. Little blood. There's a car crash. You can see some of the bodies laying on the ground, but it's not super graphic.
That's not super graphic, but that is another moment of violence in the film. I think, see, like third act content wise, and then like you mentioned it earlier, this movie's not pervy like in other ways movies are, but there are a couple like moments where it's like, but that's not even right. Like that's in PG-13 all the time. So I don't necessarily get how this movie managed to be rated R.
I mean, it's got to be the third F-bomb wherever the heck it is, because if you have 3 F-bombs, it's automatically an R, or if you use 1 F-bomb in the sexual sense, it's automatically an R. I did not hear the third. I barely knew that the second one existed. I think what it is somebody in the production wanted it to be R. And they were just like, it's just gonna be R. Like, because there are things in PG-13 movies that I've seen way worse than this. Way darker, way more violent. Like, you watch any action movie,
yeah,
everybody's getting their heads banged through like glass windows and people are getting shot up. And like, think about Van Helsing, think about The Mummy. Those are all PG-13. The Mummy, like, a guy gets his eyeballs ripped out and then his soul gets sucked and his lifeless corpse gets thrown at people. Like, this is just a movie where a guy kind of gets shot and you barely see it. There's inaudible swearing.
Yeah, it's a weird part of this movie.
Yeah,
like a weird tangentially related thing about this movie. So, read at the end of talking about this movie.
I mean, we covered why we don't understand that it's R. We've covered the production.
I don't understand why people don't like this movie. I don't understand why people don't like it. I mean, I get it, but I kind of made the snide remark earlier of like, if you're just someone who's not fun to watch movies with, then I'm sure you're not going to like this movie.
Okay.
But I kind of don't get the overall hate, because I liked this movie. I don't know if you could tell or not.
Okay.
But I liked this movie. So the polarization put me on the one side.
Right. Well, this is interesting because my prediction, after last night, you sent me your little video after the thing. And so last night, my prediction was, I thought you were going to like and appreciate a lot of elements of it, but I had a feeling that when we talked tonight, you were going to kind of not know how you felt. And as we know, when you don't know how you feel, that generally means you don't like it. So I thought that your overall feeling was not going to be positive, but that you would enjoy individual things. So the fact that you, like, halfway through our conversation, when I realized this is one of our longer episodes, I realized, he must like this because we're going like moment to moment.
Well, here's why. And here's my defense of this movie. Because it's actually has formed in probably, I need to be real accurate about this, in the 2.5 hours before we recorded, it kind of clicked. Here's why. I knew this movie was based on a book, but I didn't know when this book came out. So watching this movie, I was like, oh, this is a really interesting, and you're gonna see it. I'm gonna watch it on your face. This is a really interesting movie talking about COVID and East Palestine.
Right.
I went, like, I kind of get annoyed by that, but like, okay, fine. Like, and there's the academic stuff around it, and obviously there's more. That's not it. And like I said already, like the plot, like the theme of the movie is fear of death, and I thought that was interesting. I was very confused by the movie, even like how I felt about it when I sent you that video. Admittedly, that video was a bit like, I wanted to instead of just telling you I was speechless, I wanted to show you I was speechless, which is maybe a bit manipulative, because it definitely lends a bit like to just utter confusion and not letting on anything. And I almost texted you something last night that showed my hand that I was leading towards liking it, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna leave it for the show. But I was like, you know what? This is a really like, kind of interesting 21st century. Oh, it's the 80s, but let's talk about these modern things. But then when I found out the book was from 1985, I was like, and this has kind of been silently in the back of my head, I was like, wait a second. You're telling me like this movie isn't about the pandemic or East Palestine. And actually East Palestine, because I was looking this up, like I was Googling it, like East Palestine happened after this. I was like, this movie's genius. This is incredible. And it's a timing problem, because these darn people who it's a timing problem where it's like, if this movie had come out in the 90s or 2000s, this movie would be a classic.
Yeah.
And
if it didn't even come out in the 2010s,
it would be not polarizing. That this movie is really good. I think there would be at least the cult following that like some Kevin Smith movie gets, right? Like nerdy, but like adamantly defending this movie, and enough, so much so that like enough cool kids would be like, yeah, I like this movie, right? But it's the fact that it came out in 2022 that kind of, I mean, but it doesn't hurt it in any way that you think it would. It doesn't hurt it in production design. It doesn't hurt it in cinematography or acting or the script or like subtext. None of the things that like modern movies ruin ideas for, this movie does. It's just a timing thing. It just feels weird right now to watch this movie.
It felt even weirder in 2023.
Yeah.
Right after East Palestine. Like it felt super weird.
I bet it did. And so it's like, I mean, okay, and this is where I kind of jump the shark in my explanation of a movie, and I project on extra things I've been thinking about into what I've been watching. But I've been thinking a lot about the fact, we'll talk about this more on the show, but that like the world we live in, I've been listening to like podcasts talking about this. The world we live in is not a realistic world. We live in a fantasy world. We live, and to kind of make it appropriate for the show, we live in an absurdist comedy. Right? You can have a story that happens in real life that is so ridiculous that you couldn't write it and people believe you, right? Like that's the world we live in. And so I was very ready for like an absurdist comedy. And so like all of that didn't push me away, which I think for a lot of people it did and does.
Oh yeah.
I have, for whatever reason, I've been explaining to a couple people over the weekend my taste in film and why it's not certain things and why it is others. For me, absurdism can just, and this is my burden to bear. This is not me being better than other people, but like absurdism and like surrealism comes real easy. I really like it. I really liked Atlanta. I really like Fear and Loathing.
Oh yeah, Afro surrealism. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. I should have realized that was going to play a bigger hand.
And I almost like, that's something I thought is like, I think you forgot that like I love the first 2 seasons of Atlanta.
Yeah, I did.
Like that's a huge influence on me. It's like talking about what has my heart and what like is operating at a very low level. It's like that the whole Afro surrealism thing I went through is like, I'm ready. I'm in. Or like that you don't have to like convince me. And even to a certain extent, like movies like Raising Arizona are like not realistic movies. And so I don't know what this all to say. It's like, I liked this movie. I like that it's absurd. I like that it's like, I found a review on IMDb that was like a 4 out of 10. That is literally why I like the movie.
Right,
but it's why someone dislikes the movie. Ignore the white noise. I don't know how to describe this film, but it almost feels like watching 3 different films. It started like a parody of Dead Poet Society, then follows up being a parody of War of the World and a parody of Unfaithful, and it seems there's no correlation between these sequences. Yes, I'm aware. This is kind of funny because they lose their mind. Yes, I'm aware White Noise is a satire of supposedly average American family dealing with mundane troubles of death, life, but they said live, love, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know it's based on a novel. No, I haven't read the novel, but seeing this film as is, and for whatever this film trying to be, I don't find it entertaining. Most of the humorous aspects are cringe. It's a surrealism film, but not really. That's 4 out of 10. And that's kind of like, you can kind of change the tone, and that's why I like it. It's like
it's 3 movies in one.
It's 3 movies in one. It's rich. Yeah. It's surrealism, but not really, because it's not a surrealist film. No, necessarily.
There are surreal moments, but it's not even that much of an absurdist comedy. It's mostly just a comedy. It's just like works.
There's dense dialogue. There's like great acting. It's really funny. Like, I think it's funny. Like, either the humor works for you for this film or it doesn't. Right. And I don't think like this was not. I think I even like was maybe laughing more per capita when I was rewatching it because I was able to like enjoy a moment or two.
Yeah.
As opposed to the first time where it's like, this is happening. But and we've talked about like how it looks incredible. I don't know. Like I like a film that's silly and weird and then hard pivots to neo-noir. Like I'm in. Like I don't know. Like I'm in for that. And I think it works. I mean, this is a funny quote I found while looking at reviews. Weird for weird's sake is the name of the game. Think of a psychedelic trip by someone who likes the smell of their own farts and decided to write it down.
I saw that one.
That's like, I don't know.
I think that's being a.
As it was a comedy, it wasn't funny.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
2 out of 10. I
feel like, I think you're right. I think all the reasons that people don't like it are the reasons that we like it. Yeah. You know, I'll cop to the fact that you do, by the time you're in that last 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you feel the length. Anything over 2 hours, you feel the length. Yeah. But it's not. I can't think of too many things that would need to be trimmed. Maybe just trimming seconds off of scenes. But it's not like I could go, oh, there's so many things we could trim. Like it's the length is what it is.
And when you're done, you feel like you've watched 3 movies.
Yeah.
That was like last night I was like, I think I liked it, but I don't know how I feel. But oh my gosh, my head's spinning. Like I think I literally had a headache, which might be to other things. But like I have a headache.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that just happened in this movie.
Well, and you see the book is so exhausting because it doesn't let up and because there is no streamlining of the plot. The movie actually just goes, let's just give you like this more focused vision. And yeah, I mean, I think that's what people are, and I think this is what you're heading towards with it, is that people are taking issue, those who are not a fan of the movie are taking an issue with all the things that make the movie unique. They don't like the length. They don't like that it's like 3 different stories in one. They don't like that it's kind of it's not left open-ended, but the airborne toxic event was really just a catalyst for an overall thematic device. It was really just to kind of punch things up. It really had no bearing on anything, but that's kind of how it went with East Palestine. Like, oh crap, there was a spill. A week later, everybody goes back.
Yeah.
And you just kind of go, oh, I guess this is what we're doing. Like, we're all just going to get cancer now. Like, that's that. And like, they don't like, I remember reading a couple of reviews, I'm sure you saw them, of like people saying that it's tonally confused. It's not tonally confused. It just does a lot of things. It's a horror movie for a second. It has suspense moments. It has comedy. It's got all the things. And I don't think that it's necessarily that you're getting tonal whiplash. I think you're just, again, if you go into this movie expecting something else, and that's the only reason why I told you don't get too hung up on the plot, because I didn't want to give anything away, but I didn't want you going in thinking that it was going to necessarily resolve, because then, you know, you get an expectation for how that's going to go. And I think that's what messed with people. I think it was the timing, like you said, it came out at a weird time. If it would have come out before the pandemic, it probably would have done better. And I think that people were just expecting something else. And also, how do you not? Because if you watch the trailer for the movie, there's really no good way to market this movie. There's so much going on in it. You really can't effectively market it. And it plays around in so many genres and so many styles, sometimes moment to moment. It gets very Spielbergian, like War of the Worlds, and then it does this other thing, and it's just, it's it's three for the price of one. You get your money's worth, man. You really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, unless there's something specific other things that you wanted to call out or observe, we can probably get to our rating, I guess.
Yeah, I think we can rate it.
Okay.
This is hard because my opinion of this movie shifted so much in the last like 3 hours, which I liked it. Like I still would have said I liked it. I still like thought it was pretty darn good, but realizing like, oh snap, I mean, the timeline of it, the chronological nature of it is a little fuzzy, but like what I was saying, the truths they do capture about like people and how we react to bad situations, like that's not as old as 1985 for all I care.
Right.
And I mean, I haven't read the book. I don't know, but it seems like it's fairly accurate to what the book.
Dude, I'm telling you, the book, you could have shown up to set without a script and just went, we're shooting this page today, and just ripped it out of the book and went, there you go. It's verbatim. They've only, again, to my knowledge, they streamlined a few things. They cut out one or two small characters, and they just kind of, they moved a couple scenes around and changed a bit of dialogue. Like I said, Heinrich's monologue there in the car, like his narrating, that's not in the book exactly, but everything else is pretty much verbatim. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
So that isn't at the end in the book, if I remember correctly. I think it's just Jack.
I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, but I don't remember a lot of the end of the book. The book also, like, if you think this movie loses a little bit of steam, if we're being nitpicky when we get to the nuns, the book loses a ton of steam. The last like 3 chapters, it just fizzles and it just goes on and just goes on. And then like Wilder rides on his tricycle like across the highway one day and like freaks them all out. And like the book meanders until it just exhausts you and then it stops. Yeah. So the movie is absolutely an improvement. But sorry, continue.
But no, it's like in the fact I think the truth they do capture is accurate and like interesting, and humanity is afraid of death, and it's like a weird thing that people, like, we all have in common.
Yeah, and the concept of like, if you could develop a drug that would, not so much that it prevents you from dying, but if the drug stopped you from fearing death, it would amount to the same thing as not dying.
Yeah,
and you could just live with that. That's an interesting concept,
and it's called Dylar, which is
called Dylar, right?
Which I honestly only kind of clocked this time around.
Right,
it's like, that's pretty good.
And I mean, not to like shoehorn this in there, but from a Christian perspective, if you know Christ, there's your Dylar right there, right? Like, without the memory loss, it's like you don't fear death because you know what's coming afterwards. So it really is like, once that's gone, death kind of isn't a thing. At this point, the only thing I would say I fear is I'm a wimp. I just don't like pain. So the only thing I would fear is I just don't want it to hurt too bad for too long. You know what I mean? Like, just let me fall off of something real high or just have a heart attack and not realize it. I don't want to.
Yeah. And it's like, and I mean, to be fair, like the movie kind of having a wimpy ending is because they don't have a necessarily satisfying answer for fearing death.
No, but what they do have is like lean into each other and like, okay, cool, that works. That's kind of what you got to do anyway.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, that's why your ending is not satisfying. It's because you didn't come up with this operatic answer for.
Well, I think that fits with the comedy, though. The comedy is just, well, get over it and love each other and go home and go to the supermarket. Everything will be nice and fine in the supermarket. Everything's glowing in the supermarket.
Yes. But yeah, so rating. This is hard. I don't think I'd come to regret it if I gave this movie a 7.
Nice. Yeah.
Which is like, it worked its way up from like a 6.7, 6.8 with kind of the added truth. And I don't necessarily think it's 7.5, 8.
Yeah.
But I could be convinced, because I'm telling you, like, repeated watchability, and I hate to be the guy that's like, you got to watch it more than once. But to be fair, my favorite movie of all time, I think you need to watch more than once, which is No Country. Because I was talking about this with somebody the other day. No Country is so show don't tell. And I mean, I'm kind of an idiot, but you kind of do need to go, you need one time through to be like, okay, that's what's gonna happen, and now I need to like actually pay attention because it's all just. But I think I give this movie a 7 because it's just so darn fun, and it looks gorgeous, and it's funny, and that's what I got. And I think it's like, I mean, you put it in with other films we've talked about on the show, and I think it's better than Moneyball. I think it's better than
for sure,
Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I think it's better than, I mean, you name it. So
yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think I can't remember what rating I gave it on IMDb. I do remember that I gave it a higher rating on IMDb than even I was feeling, just because I wanted to try to balance out like the ridiculously low rating that it has. It does not deserve a 5.7. It deserves to at least be a 6.5. It's a good movie, and I want people to watch this movie. I would give this movie, if I was being conservative, I'd say like a 7 or a 7.1. If I go with just subjectively how much I enjoy it and how much I've enjoyed rewatching it and how much I love the visuals of it, I give it like a 7.5. So that's where I'm at. And well, go ahead.
I'm gonna put you down as a 7.5.
There we go. Give me, yeah. I'm feeling generous. Give it a 7.5. This is the question on everyone's lips, which is, does it have your heart, sir?
I mean, honestly, going into this episode, I probably would have been like, no. But talking about it and thinking about it and almost crying, laughing at when the girl starts barking like a dog in the middle of the chase, like I think it does, because there's certain movies on the show that I've kind of come to regret not quite giving my heart. The Lady Killers is an example where that
I knew that
kind of just stayed with me, and I've like thought about it more, and I really want to rewatch it. So like, I don't want to, and I don't give away my heart much on the show.
No, you got a steel trap of a heart there, Mr. Matsky.
I think on like a very personal level, this movie has my heart. How much of like my filmmakingness is going to be influenced by this, I don't know. But I think if you could time travel and show this movie to me in like 2020 or 2019, I would have like ate it up.
Yeah. See, well, and that's the funny thing about Lady Killers is I remember when we did that episode, you're like, I don't know if this one has exactly all like the quotability of Raising Arizona or whatever. I can't remember the exact manner of what you said. And then like since then you keep like
I only quote things
from Trial Balloon and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, he's gonna retroactively he's gonna actually go back and like this movie a lot more. So
yeah,
I did not see that coming, but I also did legitimately forget I had a complete Dylar-esque lapse in memory that you were so into Afro-surrealism. So it does actually make sense that this worked as well for you as it did. It absolutely has my heart as well. I want to preach the good news of this movie to as many people as possible. Unfortunately, I can't think of too many people I know personally, aside from yourself, that would enjoy this film.
I think I'm going to make Dad watch it. I think I'm going to make Dad watch it before he listens to this episode. And we might rewatch it like this weekend, if I can get away with that.
If you do, you got to tell me how he feels about it, because
I think he's gonna like it.
I think he will too.
Yeah, he's got enough fun that he's gonna be in for the ride, and I think he's really gonna like it. But I'll let you all know on the show what Dad's thoughts are. And that's the thing, is like, I feel the same way. This is part of why I don't want to say reluctantly giving it my heart, but why I think I can give my heart is like, I've been wanting to tell people about this movie, but there are people who I'm pretty sure would really not like it. And so it's like, never mind. There's no point. And I kind of had to bite my tongue today a couple times to be like, I watched this movie called White Noise. At work. Yeah, it was at work. So that's been this episode. This is a long one. We liked this
might be the longest. I don't know how long this episode is.
Our one Stranger Things episode was super long.
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't think we'll ever beat the Stranger Things episode. I think the second longest is probably would probably be Raising Arizona, right? Because we pretty much took that blow by blow. So
I think so. Raising Arizona was long, man. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's this movie. It looked great. It was all the things. We love it. We want everybody to watch it.
Best movie ever? ? Thumbnail title.
Yeah.
What? But
but it's good. It's one of the movies. It's one.
I think
one
it's
of the better
one of
ones.
my one of the favorite movies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It's like of the show so far, it's top 5. I mean, that's obvious because I gave it my heart, and I think I've only given.
Yeah, I mean, Napoleon Dynamite has your heart. Raising Arizona has your heart.
I have the
Troll Hunter.
Prisoners, kind of retroactive. That's another one that retroactively.
Right.
Malignant, The Fugitive.
Right.
Which I stand by that.
There's like 7 or so that have your heart.
Yeah. Creature from Black Lake has my heart visually.
Of course.
Napoleon Dynamite does have my heart. Raising Arizona does have my heart. Mouse Hunt's very close to having your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the show.
Sweet. Are you giving me what I'm watching now, or are you going to tell me off air?
Let's discuss it off air.
Okay.
Build suspense.
We'll just keep the suspense. Dang, man, people don't know when the show's coming out. They don't know what we're watching next. It's
okay, fine.
No,
do you want to move? Do you want a movie now? I got to find my list.
You don't have to do it now. I was just bugging you because I didn't know that the movie that we were doing the show on Fridays now. And I'm like, people don't know what's going on.
You don't listen to the show.
I have very recently listened to the show. Yeah, I went back and listened to our Moneyball episode like last week, and I didn't know when things were coming out. I was just the
listening. Moneyball one is fun. I listened to the Moneyball one. There's actually very recent episodes. I've actually made my way through them, with the exception of the 7 episode. I think because I was so sick when I recorded it, it just brings all the bad memories.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't like 7. It's just it's one of our less fun episodes, just because the movie is what it is.
It's a very dour tone.
And so I've tried to listen to that when I'm like, I'm just clearly sick, and I don't want to be there. But
cool.
Yeah.
If you like it, if you hate it, whatever you do, you send us the thing about it, and you know what to do. And that's the end of the show. So get out of here, you scam.
We got it started, and now we'll get it ended.
Well, there we got it started. It got hot, and now goodbye, everybody.